All right, guys, we are round baling. So it is Wednesday, July 16th. We're round baling. I'm over this hay. Oops. Over this hay yesterday. Round baling it up. Got the drone in the air. Not sure if the drone's going to follow us real well or not. I put the drone in the middle of the field, hoping for the best. It's supposed to rain later today, tonight. So I mowed this hay yesterday, so I'm going to round bale it and wrap it. I'm thinking there's probably 20 bales. Hopefully not much more than 20. He's got softball practice tonight, so once I get this baled, I'm going to start moving bales and wrapping them. And I hope to get them all baled and wrapped and tonight, but if I don't, I'll have to finish in the morning. Hopefully it's not raining. I think it's like 50% chance of rain every day. You know, it's July. We get these late afternoon storms. But that's what we're doing. Yeah, drone lost me. I don't know. I put it on point of interest and it does not like the trees. That's all there is to it. Thought maybe it would work better out in the middle. Get a bale here. We'll see if we can get it back. Get it back on us in a minute. So yesterday I mowed this hay a couple hours. I have four fields left to do on the home farm. 2 rental properties left to do. 1 rental property I'm hoping my one neighbor's going to help me out with. We don't need the hay this year. So I just kind of like talked to him, like, hey, you want to help me do the hay over there, at least get it off. So hopefully he's going to do that, because we are running out of time. String is in the wrong. String came out. Well, that's always nice to miss a loop and put the string on. So I missed this eye hole. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but when I just had to put the string broke coming out of the feeder on the new ball. That's happening quite a while, but fun. Missed an eye hole underneath the baler right by the door. So got that fixed. Hopefully we didn't lose connection to everything. Can't tell. That was fun. I had baled a whole bale in between putting string in. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, why I didn't mess up the other one. So tractor does not want to go into range today. Darn. There we go. Once in a while it does not want to go into the range. So already made a bale. Finished tying, I should say. So I mowed this yesterday. Got done mowing. Decided I would hopefully watch the video, but I decided that I'd try to band that steer with my new Callicrate Pro Bander, and so I made a video of that. Hopefully you watched that. That went so well. I mean, I don't have the best shoot there is, but it worked fine. He went right in there. He's very cooperative. Every time I've had him in the chute probably three times probably. And he's always been pretty cooperative. He doesn't get too excited. And, you know, he was fine. The first band broke. I don't know. I'm not sure. I might have had it twisted. I'm not sure. But it could have been that it, you know, sat around. Could have been that it sat around. You know, I don't know when the company made it and sent it to the place I got it from. I got it from Value Vet. Buy a lot of stuff from Value Vet. You get it, usually shipping, prices are pretty good, shipping's pretty fast. And that's about all you can ask for when you're looking at buying any of that kind of stuff. I have no idea where the drone is. It's always nice, like right over top of me, I guess. So, Value Vet, I've been buying, my dad bought stuff for Value Vet 30 years ago when he had to do they had a mail order catalog, probably longer than that. So they usually have everything, get fast shipping. I don't know if it was better price anywhere else or not. I really don't care. So maybe they got it, maybe that one band, but I probably had it, you know, I'll say it's a 50-50 chance that it was a bad band or I had it twisted. The second one, perfect. Now I did make sure, the second one, I did make sure I didn't have it twisted. You probably couldn't see in the video, but I did have to flip the handle over on the bander before I started ratcheting it, and that made sure it was untwisted. But I mean, you know, they had a video where I watched and they had you hold the band like through all your fingers except for your little finger, and I guess it's an okay technique if you can master it. But what I found out was if I got a couple fingers from each hand and I actually just let the bander do its just kind of fall, and I basically held the top of the band up with my left hand and pulled the other part down with my right hand and slid the testicles through kind of sideways, kind of like stepping through a hoop, and it was easy to get in place that way. Hopefully the drone doesn't come too close to trees. It's right on me. Oh. Does not like the trees, which is fine. I don't need it to crash. It's actually staying on the baler. There we go. So there's a little bit of drone footage anyway. So I'm super excited about that bander. I have maybe 4 or 5 more. A couple of them are a little bit on the bigger side too. I just don't, I haven't been able to catch them. Catching them as calves to band them for me is just like not even, like that's not going to happen. They're lucky if I'm lucky if I know that the calf was born that day and I check to make sure it's up and eating. I try really hard to do that as far as running out in the pasture and catching them. I would love to catch them and band them when they're all, when they're all small, just because it can be, relatively easy. Drone's got a low battery, gonna go land. Oh, there it is right there. But then again, some people say, well, if you're better off if you feed them for a while, you wait a little while, you feed them, you make sure they eat good, you get minerals, they build some muscle, get a little chance to be like, little bulls that are, have a little, have some, I don't know if it's testosterone, gets them going or whatever, but have some of that for them and then band them. And then basically, banding them basically, from what I know about it, basically just fattens them up, gives the meat a little bit more of a fatty, fat to it, which gives it flavor. And that's, so there's no, and I've watched videos, I've looked things up, on the internet, a bunch of different sources, and it's really, it comes down to you band them when it works for you, and it shouldn't be a big deal. You don't have to worry about banding them when they're young. So that's what I do. I try to band them. I really would prefer to band them between like 6 months and a year. But this one here, I don't think he's 2. It might be maybe just turned 2. So he would, though, if I'm right, we started worrying a little bit about keeping track of the age of the steers a few years ago when mad cow was a thing, right? Let's see if I have to land the drone here. Because when mad cow was a thing, they wanted you to have them 30 months or younger. So then we started I started keeping track. They're like, well, missed the landing. So like the one year, the butcher, the lady that was like the receptionist or whatever, she was real pain about, well, are they 30 months or not? And I'm like, I don't know, So then since then, we started taking pictures of them as calves and trying to keep track. And I'm pretty sure this one would not be 30 months when his butcher day is. One year, they had it completely wrong. The oldest one, they told me one of them was older, because you can't get meat cut on the bone. And the one time they told me the one was older, and I'm positive that he was not, because they checked by their teeth or whatever, which I think that's kind of dumb. But you have to have a photo. They want you to have a photo or some kind of proof if you want to argue with them, and it's really not worth it. But so anyway, I was real impressed with the bander. I watched a couple more pre-furt videos. I think I probably watched every pre-furt video there is. I've decided I'm probably going to get the chute. get the chute and some alley, what do you call them? Alley frames, so that the chute that I have, the alley frames keep the alley from spreading apart or going narrow, or basically they keep it from shaking like crazy too, and I'm probably gonna get the prefer alley frames and use them with my tartar. Use them with my tartar panels. Got to get the drone. He flipped upside down. Had it trying to land on the case. Drone was supposed to land on the case and missed the case, and was giving me a propeller error, but the arm folded in, so it should be all right. The battery, so I did not charge the batteries in the drone, or for the drone I should say, so it has, the batteries lose power if it sits in the case. So that's why it didn't last as long. It's like a safety feature the batteries have in them, so as far as like explosion or fire or something, I guess. But I know you can't see me, I'm out of the tractor. I'm messing around with the drone, trying to get the drone picked up so I can get the drone to cooperate here. But got it picked up. Well, if we put it in the air to do some wrapping or not, maybe. We'll see. Gotta switch batteries. Put this back in there. There we go. So, and of course the cows, they were out today. I was out here raking hay, and all of a sudden there's cows standing at the end of the field. They found a hole overnight, must be. Don't have that many cows, but got some fence fixing to do, and biggest thing with the fence I have is the trees. We keep having ash trees falling down on the fence all over the place. And we don't have that many cows right now, but we did have a lot of cows before. So we have quite a bit of pasture. Right now we're only running the cows in just a little bit of pasture because the bottom part, the bigger pasture, it's so bad for the repairs. So I have a kid, Ben, he's a teenager, he works for me, and I had him out. I said, you got to check fence. And you got to fix it the best you can, the best you know how. It's got to be, if it's barbed wire, it's got to be tight. If it's high tensile, it's got to be tight. And you got to try to figure out where they got out. Look for tracks, look for manure. Maybe they got where maybe they got out, so you can fix that spot. Look for other spots while you're doing it. So. Because I don't have time to do that right now, but the problem is, they're going to run out of pasture that they do have, so we're going to have to let them down into the big pasture. Eventually it's going to quit raining. That's what happens every summer. It's either going to be, could be dry as early as August or September, So we got to get it all fixed and checked so we can let them down back in the big pasture. And of course, I didn't really want to do it right now anyway, because I want to try to catch those other bulls. If I let them down back in the big pasture, they won't be coming up to the barn. They'll probably go down there for days, and you won't see them up at the barn for, could be as much as a week. Because there's a creek that runs through, they got water down there. but put them down there and the fence isn't good enough, then they'll be going to the neighbors. And the neighbor will be calling me. I don't know, the neighbor probably has food plots. Usually does a couple food plots of corn and stuff for deer. Because everybody knows we got to feed the deer more. Not enough for the deer to eat. Poor deer. But, so we got to get the fence checked. Anyway, we're going to make it that part of the video. We'll catch back up with you when we get the bales moved and we start doing some wrapping. I don't know if we'll put the drone in the air for wrapping or not, but stay tuned. We will be back. All right, guys. So I got the hay all baled. I think there's probably like 24 bales maybe. Got 10 bales hauled up here and getting ready to wrap. So the other day when I wrapped, I talked about how I might do it differently the next time. So this is what I've done. I turned the wrapper around and I found out, so I wrapped, since the last video, I wrapped 12 bales the other day, and it works a lot better this way. So with the wrapper turned around, loading bales from this side, you could pull your film out and start it on the bale. Right? Wrap your bale, get your bale all done. Then get off, cut the wrap, stick it to the bale, dump the bale off. So instead of having it do the whole auto cut thing. So the auto cut the material has to go across the wrapper just right, okay? And then you set the bale on there and the materials are underneath the wrapper. And you set the bale on top of that, and then when it goes around, it catches on the cutter and it cuts it. The problem is if it doesn't go over there just right and you set it on there, it does not cut correctly. And you end up with, it might cut it the next time around, you have a tail sticking down, or it might get down and wrap around the bottom of the wrapper. So when I bought the machine, the cutter wasn't on it. The guy that owned it actually had taken the cutter off because he preferred to do it this way. And now I see why, you know. And the other thing is you're saving, I don't know, probably 5 feet of material, maybe. I don't know, maybe not, maybe more, maybe less, at least 5 feet probably. And it makes a nice clean end. I did adjust the baler. So it has a spring in there with pins that tells it when to stop making hay, when to tie a bale. And I did move it the other day without forcing the spring or anything. I moved it 2 holes. They're making just a little bit smaller bale. And I think that they will wrap a little bit better. I noticed like on the bale counter, the other day when I wrapped the bales behind me, they were doing like 12 to get one wrap around, 12, sometimes 13. And now I've made the bales a little smaller. We're doing 11. And I had the counter previously set for 22. And that means that the bale gets wrapped completely twice. And you basically get like 4, because it does like about that much. You get basically like 4 layers or whatever. You're supposed to end up with a certain amount of mil. So this is like a certain amount of mil. What is this? 1 mil. So you want to end up with 6 mil at least around the bale. And this actually has more than that, I think. So anyway, the little bit smaller bales seem to work a lot better. So I have to run and get I forgot the counter. I also had trouble with the 966 the other day. It was a little low on hydraulic fluid, so I don't even know if it's going to work today to wrap or not. But we will give it a shot. So we'll stop the video real quick. I got to run over and get the... All right, we're back. I got the counter. So the counter just plugs into the wrapper. It's got a cord on it. And on one side, up here in the front, it's a magnetic counter. So the wrapper, the part that rotates, this part rotates, and it's got a metal thing on it. And then on the counter, it's another metal thing. The two are magnetic. And it just counts every time that the magnet makes, well, it actually doesn't make contact, but every time I guess it does, but every time the magnet makes contact, it gives it a count. And you can program the counter for the number of wraps that you want. That's all in the manual. So you're supposed to pay attention to how many wraps it gets to get the bale wrapped once. And then you're supposed to go twice as many as that. So if it's 10, you'd go 20. If it was 12, you'd go 24. Mine seemed to work pretty good on 11, so I go 22. So you get a different amount of bales for a wrap depending on the size of the bale you're making. And the other thing you got to remember is once they're wrapped and they're fermented, they're heavy. So you actually want to make a little bit smaller bale anyway. So I have the baler set where it's comfortable making pretty good bales. I mean, they're going to be heavy when they're wrapped, but I don't want to mess with the baler, make big bales and small bales. We want the dry bales and the wrap bales to all be the same size. It's been, 3 years since I wrapped any. So I did quite a bit of work on the baler since then. So that's probably why I had to adjust it to make it a little bit smaller. So we're going to start loading bales on here and we'll wrap. We got the camera sitting on the four-wheeler. It's going to be a little loud with the 966 and everything, but we'll wrap a couple bales and we'll wrap up this video. So I'll be right back with the bale. All right, so this is how I like to do it. You take this bale, put it on the bale on here, put out your film, just tuck it through, do a little half hitch on the first twine that you can get on, just like that. And then we'll jump up on here and we'll wrap it. I was wondering about this lever. Maybe that was what was wrong with the, yeah, that lever's supposed to be back, I think. That's why it isn't dumping the bale like it's supposed to. This lever is locked on there, I think. That's the lock that way. doesn't seem to want to move. Anyway, maybe it will. At least it's not locked, so maybe it'll work. So we'll see if the 966 has enough hydraulic fluid to wrap some bales. So right there is the bales covered. That's 11 wraps. So now it's going to do half a wrap more overlapping. And we're going to go till it gets to 22. Got a piece of twine hanging down. Hopefully that gets covered up good. And the counter actually does beep. It has a light that comes on, and it does actually beep. So then I have this right here. Take my knife, real careful, cut it, and then just take my hand and smooth that all on there and stick it good. And then I kind of just check these ripples a little bit, make sure they're stuck good. It's a nice wrap bale. I'm over here and I'm just checking the ripples real quick just to stick them. And that's a pretty good wrap bale right there. So I really like that a lot better. It looks cleaner and nicer. The only thing that I'm thinking about changing about the wrapper is these guys right here. So you can see how this one is pressed right up against the bale. So that's kind of like smoothing this out, kind of like pressing it right on the bale. And it only did that because the bale shifted over. But on the other side, look how far it is off. So I really would like to take these and make them so they stuck in there just a little bit farther. That way it would smooth out the wrap on the edges on the edges for you. But I definitely like having the bale wrap on there. I mean, I have to get off the tractor one more time to cut it, and then I have to get back up on the tractor to dump it, but it's a lot cleaner looking bale, saving a little bit of material. So there you have it. I still haven't found the third link for this tractor. I could steal one from one of the other tractors, but I don't want to do that. It works fine. I mean, I dug it a little bit of dirt in. Once we feed all the bales, we're going to disc this area and probably broadcast some seed here anyway. So that's going to be our video for today. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more from Triple D Farms, Triple D Maple, and Triple D Cabins. Have a great day.